Lemuel Rosner at the right.
What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hello. We are back, and we are here with Crossing the Streams. Oh, we got Jess Paul, who's now 50 times more famous than last time she was here.
I don't know where you're getting that, man. I'm not any more famous. I'm just the same amount of busy and getting paid exactly the same as before.
I think you're way more famous now than you were before. You just keep becoming more famouser. But before we get into your famousness, let's do the theme song. If Jess, if you want to kick off the first part of the theme song.
Oh my God, guys. I've practiced this so much. Guys, this is my 5th time on the show.
I know.
I know.
Do I get something special for that?
Yes, first time I've seen it, yeah.
High five. Five timers. You get a jacket, everything.
I'll take the jacket. Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have job and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
You can keep going if you want.
Yeah.
Whose turn is it next?
The rest of us.
You go again.
All right, I'll do one more.
Okay.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff runs Sal and Bob, and there's Howard. They call it Crossing Streams. Wait.
That's fine. Bob.
And then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform. But man, we cross the streams.
Everybody, we cross the
We
streams.
cross the streams. We cross the streams.
That's the way
we do it. We cross the streams.
All right. So we got Jess Paul with us, a 5th time, 5-timer.
5-timer.
But I think she hasn't been back in a while. But like I said, she's been off getting famouser, and so she's gonna tell us a little bit about that. And she's got a big project.
I do.
That she wants to talk about. That's pretty exciting.
Can you is there any kind of hint?
Well, I can look at that.
Oh, look at that. That's a pretty big hint.
That's pretty good. That's right. Jess stars as Olivia, a daisy farmer. No, I don't know. I don't know.
That's a sunflower.
I know. The second I said
a
sunflower broker in the South.
A sunflower broker. Oh my God, that's so cute.
And all the sunflower. This is the last sunflower. And
the last sunflower.
This is the scene where the very last. Okay.
It's a post-apocalyptic.
You guys, I designed that
world.
poster. I took, honestly, since we haven't produced the film yet, most of my stories center around like the crazy lead up to getting cast in this short, and just how excited I am about it. It's a whole different kind of thing. Like, you don't know what it is yet. I mean, I know you try to put together context clues, but it's gonna blow your mind.
All right.
So you can't tell. When does it come out?
Oh, we didn't film it yet, so who knows?
Oh, you didn't film it yet.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I mean, I can give you a little bit of background. So, this is a piece of art film, as opposed to a kind of straight narrative. You know, like a short film that's going to wrap up in 14 minutes with a slight arc and some character development. Well, there's definitely going to be some character development, but guess what? This film, okay, it's going to be like 5 minutes long, no lines. No lines, okay?
Okay.
And it's really going to be driven by literally human emotion. You can't tell, like I said, you can't tell it from the poster, but this story, it's a narrative. It's a narrative of sorts. I hope to make everybody cry by the end of it. Hopefully. I'll probably make myself cry, to be honest. it's going to be how it's going to be. But the story is Olivia's mother has passed away. I don't know how much into the detail. Like, I have a backstory, but I have no idea how much of it's going to be on screen. And we're literally going to be watching Olivia over the course of a year, 5-minute film, over the course of a year, coming to terms with the grief and going through the 5 stages of grief. Again, no lines. Like, the thing is, by what I'm told, by how I'm imagining this, and I've been given like kind of references and examples and tidbits from my director, but I'm really only imagining what I can about what this is going to look like, and I am so excited. I am floored. I am already dead in the aisles. I vote Jess comes and reviews her own movie when it comes. That's funny.
Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
I didn't get to see the line.
But yeah.
So that's exciting. That's really exciting. That's very cool. Well, congratulations. You won awards too recently, haven't you?
I did. Oh my God. I can talk about my awards.
Yeah.
I don't have it. You want me to show it to you guys? 1 second. It'll take 30 seconds.
Wow, Jess.
What did Jerry chime in with? I missed it.
Oh, Jerry said she wants Jess to come back.
Cute, special little award, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got this award at the Austin Revolution Film Festival, Austin, Texas. Okay, what better to make the awards but a good old fashioned belt buckle?
Nice.
Like it's a legit. This is a real belt buckle. I put it on my belt. I wore I actually, just in case I was getting an award. Well, not just in case, it was part of the outfit. I did bring a belt. This is a very, very fun film festival. Like I said, Austin Revolution. It was postponed for 2 years during the pandemic. It didn't, like a lot of the film festivals, they went digital, they went online, like online cocktail hour over Zoom, like whatever. It was, I mean, they tried to make it happen. It was fine. But this particular one is the #1 voted film festival by its attendees on oliveFilmFreeway.com, which if you didn't know, is like the main hub to submit your film to film festivals all over the country. I'm sure even Sundance is on there. Should have checked that before I said that. But anyways, so this is for Galatea. I'm sure that actually I must have been on one of these shows talking about Galatea at some point. Galatea is in the same place that Fang is, I believe, which was the other film that you referenced, Jeff, or before the lights went on, before before we went live. Yeah, the pre-chatter. That those two are in the same place of just about to be released any day now. Not quite sure of every single detail. With Galatea, I do because I am the producer, but there it just takes forever to finish a film and distribute it. But we do have distribution, at least for Galatea, I know. And they're like, I've seen pictures from Fang. Most beautiful movie I've ever been in. I am so excited. I mean, maybe Olivia Day my trumpet, but like this was just so the whole weekend, honestly. I had been looking forward to going to ARF, which is what we call it, Austin Revolution Film Festival, for 2 to 3 years. I think we actually, so this says 2020 on it because that was the year that my film was accepted and they kept postponing it. And they had 2 festivals in 1 week. It was like a 5-day festival and they jam-packed it with a couple hundred movies.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad to have you here to share all this good stuff with us.
I had
been
a
on the
belt
journey
buckle
with
that
Jess Paul.
size.
Jess Paul's been on the journey with us.
Wait, Bob, what about your what
I was gonna say I had a belt buckle that size in 10th grade. It was a Kiss
Billy
belt
Bear?
buckle. And I won biggest dork.
It wasn't just for the belt buckle though. It was just
no. Well, speaking of belt buckles, here's the drinking game rules brought to you by Carmen and Jerry. If Bob or anyone drinks, drink. If we have a technical issue, drink. If Jess brings up the belt buckle again, drink. If we're asked what platform the show is being reviewed on, drink. If we put your name on the screen, drink. And if we forget anyone's name, drink. Also, I do want to say we still stand with Ukraine.
We still stand. I know.
Like this is I know the media is getting a little distracted from it.
It's very distracted. I mean, I was distracted by freaking Johnny Depp for a whole month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I appreciate that you do this, Jeff. I like it. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah.
I stand with Johnny Depp.
We probably all do.
Awesome. So, all right. Well, welcome to Crossing the Streams, everyone, where we answer the ultimate question: what should I be watching next? And here we are. So last week this is episode 77. So we have currently 76 other hours of shows. If you missed last week's episode, it's waiting for you on our YouTube channel. We talked about The Ranch. We warned you of movie 43. We
Worst.
lovingly suggested The Lincoln Lawyer, Untold Caitlyn Jenner, and
Oh.
Howard did a Letterman double feature, My Next Guest, and That's
Ooh.
My Time. This week we got awesome show. We got half sports and half not sports. We got Winning Time, Hustle, the new movie on Netflix. We got Night Sky, and Let's Read, Jess's new YouTube deep
Segment.
dive
Yeah.
segment. So we are going to start, Bob, with you, and we're going to do Night Sky.
Okay.
So let's hear all about Night Sky.
Well, I want to say that I love this series. Started in May. It's on Amazon, and I think if I had one word to use to describe it, it would be hypnotic. And it's sort of, I think
God,
it's
it took knock from the poster.
Yeah, and the poster kind of I'm on episode 7 of 8 now, and so that particular shot, it hasn't come into play yet, and I don't know if it does, but there is a spacey kind of alien-y thing going on, but it's more about what's going on with this couple, J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek, who is just
what a team.
she should win every award there is for this role, and they're a couple of mid 70s, maybe late 70s, living in Illinois, and they have a son who committed suicide about 20 years previous. So that all comes out very quickly. There's nothing I'm going to tell you is a spoiler. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the setup. And they live on it's not a farm per se, but it's a lot of land, and they have a barn. And in this barn, where? No, it's in Illinois, actually.
Oh, you said Illinois. That's right. You did say that.
And there's just this odd secret that sort of unfolds, which is this: they can teleport to another planet by going down into this tunnel that they discovered underneath their barn. And they get in this thing that is sort of like it feels a little bit like an elevator, but it doesn't move. It's, it could be a wormhole, it could be whatever it is, but it takes them to this planet that is uninhabited and very dark and strange. And there are lots of other very close planets in the night sky. And they just, for I don't know how many years, 20 years, sit and watch out this window onto this planet. And that's the beginning of some very strange goings on. While this is going on, there is a concurrent story happening in Argentina. A woman and her daughter, this rebellious teenager who is sick of living on this remote plot of land out in the desert where there is a church, and she's not allowed to go in this place ever. And then you find out over time that there is something similar to that thing that resides under the older couple's barn in this church. And there are a couple of several that exist apparently around the world, but these two stories do intersect, as you might expect. And there's a lot of exposition, which kind of, it takes you a while, the first episode or two, and then things start taking off when a mysterious visitor arrives while Sissy Spacek is in she's sitting watching on this other planet, and all of a sudden there's a young man in the room with her. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of intrigue about what is this thing? Why does it exist? Why did this older couple? Why was it presented to them? I don't have my glasses on, so I know Jerry's being a smart ass.
Sounds like a total rip off of my last acid trip.
Maybe. So again, I don't want to give away too much here, but truly the most amazing part of this series is Sissy Spacek. She just I hate to use the word inhabits, she inhabits the role. That's the only thing I
Yeah,
can
I
think of.
understand.
You utterly believe her. There isn't a moment, there isn't a frame that she's in
I
where
love those kinds of actors. Yeah.
when you don't believe she is a you know a grieving but trying to be happy mother whose son has committed suicide, and a wonderful wife to J.K. Simmons, and they have a good relationship in spite of those other things going on. But I was just sort of you can't take your eyes off her in this. You just can't. And she steals every scene she's in. Um, and I can't tell you anything more than what I've told you.
Well, tell me this. So this show sounds, and maybe from the poster, discerning from what you're saying, is it a very visually driven show? Like, is there beautiful cinematography and or effects that are okay? I'm imagining.
There is that. There's a very sort of I don't want to say haunting, maybe a lilting score to it. It just kind of meanders. You just fall into this and go, oh, and all of a sudden 45 minutes have passed. You're like, wow, okay. And each show has a nugget.
Amazon, huh?
Yeah, that
I
they
love that
deliver
one.
to you.
Wait, is it
Yeah,
just Prime?
well, I think what happens is you
I
can
do
now
not have
get it on-
Amazon Prime.
It's on.
I do
Amazon
have
Prime, yeah.
Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Yeah,
then
that's what
then
it
you
is.
have it.
Okay.
You
I
have
didn't.
it.
I don't
You
know how
have
to
it.
watch shows on there.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's I don't want to give too much away because it's in the unfolding of it that I really like this series. I got one episode to go. They better provide some resolution. I'm going to be really pissed because there's a lot of threads, a lot of loose ends, but very good. I recommend it.
I have to say, this sounds like the show for me because do you guys know, you want to know a secret, what I do at like the absolute end of every single night to bring my brain down, to just center me again, to go to sleep, to shut my brain off right before I go to sleep, is I scroll pictures of autumn and stars. That's it. Like,
Okay.
those
Oh,
are the
that-
two
that
things
makes
that I
sense.
look at. Yeah, just scroll my Tumblr feed and just like sink. They just make me happy. Those two things make me happy. So I have a feeling I'm gonna like
You will like
Night
this.
Sky.
You
So
will like it.
here's a little couple of pieces of trivia. Created by Holden Miller, son of Dennis Miller.
Oh, I
okay.
did not know that.
Yeah, and J.K. Simmons basically read it, liked it, found out Sissy Spacek was attached, said I'll do it.
I mean,
Here's the thing I just read before the show. Ed O'Neill was going to play the J.K. Simmons character, and he was on set for a month and then dipped. Yeah, they didn't really get into why. They didn't
on
say
set for a month. That means he filmed a lot, right?
Yeah,
What does dipped
Yeah.
mean?
he left.
Just
Bye.
Oh.
Who knows? Who
It was
knows?
originally
out of
called
there.
Light Years. That was the movie. It was originally called Light. All right, so you say check this out for sure.
Yes,
is there
definitely.
any season 2 announcements?
There should be a season 2. I'd watch it.
Okay, so this is a first
I don't-
season. How many episodes for Prime? I have
8.
no idea what they do. Okay,
8. Yeah.
again, because I didn't know how to work it on Prime.
Yeah, and there's no explosions, there's no alien spacecraft, shooting people and things up. It's just it's not meandering. It's a very slow build, and it's hypnotic. There you go.
All right, love it.
I know.
All right,
I think this might be for me.
All right, this is for Jess. All right, let's keep the
Oh.
Jess train going.
Let's keep
talk
it
about
going.
let's talk about
Okay.
Let's Read. This is a gigantic YouTube channel.
Honestly, it's so funny because on YouTube you can directly see how many people these videos impact. You don't get to see that on Netflix, or like the public doesn't. So exactly like 2 million people. I don't actually know how many is subscribed to Let's Read, but it's really up there as far as the echelon of storytelling podcasts, storytelling creepypasta YouTube channels. Okay, like I think that I was around 26 or 27 when me and my ex were like just scrolling through YouTube, going down the rabbit hole together. And there pops up this video that's going to tell you a story that was read on Reddit about a Craigslist experience. Like there was a picture of a dirty mattress. I was like, what is this going to be? I was so excited. And so I realized this entire genre existed. Man, it's so funny too, because so we're talking about creepy campfire stories. That's the thing. Like, if you like yourself a classic campfire story, somebody's literally telling you as if they're reading from a book, but he's reading from posts that people will write in. So it's kind of a first person, this could or could not be true kind of deal. There are some, you know, scary story YouTubers that will specifically do like, this is obviously fiction. This, you know, this has a certain feel to it, everything. And then there are just people that are reading real people lives. And I think that this is a crossroad that I'm at, guys. I don't know if it's a millennial thing. I don't know if it's just my personality, because I'm trying to figure out how I'm an actress that doesn't like watching TV or movies.
We're
And-
comedians.
Well,
that
maybe
don't
it
watch
distracts you. Like, well, James Healy was on it. I think if like you know too much, it can be distracting.
That's a big
He
part
was
of
good.
it, because
He was
if I've been working a lot and like actually being on set for a while, or even writing, you know, knowing what I want to see in a film, I'll watch a film and be completely distracted about my completely unwarranted opinions and critiques on everything in the show or the movie. And that's part of it. But also maybe it's another reason, like, that knowing what's behind the curtain is a little bit of a curse, because I'm watching something with every single, I cannot extend my disbelief anymore. Like, I know that the story I'm watching, the actors that are saying these lines, it's just been decades of regurgitating a play of sorts. And so when it comes to watching, or to be honest, mostly listening, because that's why I watch so much YouTube. Like, if you guys thought I was crazy in the beginning when I said I listened to 8 to 12 hours of YouTube every day, it's a background thing. Like, as you know, people will watch The Office like 12 times in a row just to hear it in the back in the other room. Well, YouTube, it's a constant like churning of a mix. It's like news. Okay, but we're getting away from the story at hand, or the channel at hand, which is Let's Read. Let's Read is one of, I would say, maybe this is just my own guess from my own, there's probably so many channels I haven't seen, but I feel like he's of at least the top 50 of these creepypasta storytelling YouTubers. And he specifically does read them from mostly from a point of view where people have written in, subscribers, or he's gotten them off of Reddit, to listen to these stories that have every possibility of being true. Like, I'm listening to a story and he'll fit like 10 to 12, maybe like 7 to 12 of them in one episode. That's like maybe an hour long cast of him just kind of reading these stories. And I was trying to remember the narrator's name, because one thing that you'll learn about this genre is that a lot of them don't even have faces. You will never see some of these readers. They all have very similar names. There's like Mr. Creepypasta, Creeps McPasta, like the list goes on. And Let's Read, I tried to go back. Like, I think I've listened to almost every single pod of his. And is that what they call them? I'm just assuming that is a single pod. No, something like that.
I think it's called a Poe.
A Poe. Okay, gotcha. So when it came down to his very first episodes, I think is it Jules? I wish I would have figured that. I think it begins with a J. This reader, he has such a, you know, I get very picky when I'm listening to some of these narrators, these readers, because you want enough of believability without it being too over dramatic. Maybe just this perfect balance of neutral but yet believable, so that you can almost like fall asleep listening to it. But I've never fallen asleep listening to it.
What are the visuals that go along with?
So there might be one slightly moving figure, depending on what he has. Sometimes it's just the thumbnail. You're just looking. It's basically a podcast, but it is YouTube specific. I'm like, what he'll do is he'll take like 3 hours of his stories, and that's his podcast. That's his version of his podcast. He'll upload that to I don't know where people listen to podcasts, but he'll have these single hour shows. I think he really did get big on YouTube to begin with. So there, for a lot of these storytellers, to be quite honest, there is almost no visual. There might be a moving graphic, but you're not really looking at much. So really, I am the what did I call the resident
YouTuber.
child? Yeah.
Oh, Pete Davidson.
Yeah, Pete Davidson. In the sense that I'm just like over here doing my little millennial thing with YouTube, watching 8 hours of YouTube a day. For some reason can't watch, award-winning television.
Well, you're not watching, you're listening, right?
That is true. And to be honest, one of the reasons that I like, because, okay, so one show that I am currently in the middle of is Succession. I'm enjoying it. I think there's a lot that's merited about a lot of things, both like the cinematography is really fun. The actors are really good. Like half of them are British. It's like, why we have so many Americans? And when it comes to that though, I want to pay attention, and I also know that that kind of drama or that kind of turmoil is a lot for me to handle. So I'm not necessarily one of those chicks who runs to reality shows when I want to like shut everything off, like the Kardashian sequel. But I will go to Let's Read to hear a story about the time that all these people almost got kidnapped. But to lead out, I'll talk about one of my favorite series of his that is very important to me and kind of separates. There's a lot, they're all very different. All of the Scary Story narrators. Jules, I just keep calling him Jules. I don't remember what his name was, but I'm going to remember it tomorrow. He I just gave this narrator a name on a live podcast, but he will literally one of the series that he has is, instead of telling a scary story from Reddit, he'll break down very famous rock songs or songs in general that were inspired by something you weren't aware of that has a dark history to it, because there's a lot out there apparently. And that's super fun for me because I'm a rock fan and I'm a spooky stuff fan. So he really makes it creepy in every sense of the word, and I just love that little scare. I just love the campfire story, and that's why I was so drawn to a channel like Let's Read.
You brought up something
In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that used to be sort of legendarily discussed. So it had to do with.
Tell me it. I don't know if I know that one.
Committed. Now it's a Dyson commercial.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
But do you think? I don't know. Who knows if that's true?
No. I think he recently said that it wasn't based on anything like that. Yeah, he said no, it's just a song.
But it is definitely a Dyson commercial now.
I did.
Possession by Sarah McLachlan. That was based on a true story.
Oh, really?
Possession. Oh, wasn't that one of her fans?
Yeah, her stalking her basically. A lot of the lines in the song. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, scary world out there.
Don't you hate?
See, guys, that's what I don't want to get that famous, guys. I do not want to be stalked by some random people.
You don't want to be stalked famous.
We don't need to get to that degree. Like I can stop before then. I can be a little less famous.
Oh, like Bob.
Fair enough.
All right, let's.
Thank you. Yeah. Whose show are you on tomorrow night? I forgot. That's sold out for the 9th time in a row.
I believe I'm doing your show tomorrow.
Yes.
Fight 10.
All right, my friends. I'm going to go next. Jess, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
that fabulous review. All right. This is part one of our two-part sports movie bonanza. All right, so this is Hustle, starring Adam Sandler. And let me say, this is was the #1 movie on Netflix. And it is Adam Sandler's 9th movie for Netflix. I will say along the way, some of those 9 movies are unwatchable. However,
Yes.
I will also say that Hustle, I would put as one of my I could watch anytime movies. I really enjoyed this movie a lot. And Adam Sandler was great. Like if you had only seen Adam Sandler do this, and then you showed somebody, oh, well, you got to see Billy Madison, they'd be like, what?
Yeah.
What? And
How dare you?
so this is like Adam Sandler has moments of acting brilliance where he, is a very good actor. I
Uncut
think
Gems is a top 5 movie of mine.
Uncut Gems is great,
So
and
good.
Big Daddy is a great
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And don't
What
get me
was,
wrong,
what
I
was
love
the P.T. Anderson movie he did where he was
and Reign Over Me
a little
and
off.
Yeah.
I will say though, in all fairness, one of my favorite movies is Waterboy as well.
Who doesn't love Waterboy?
Which doesn't fall into the same level. Now I will say,
not only will I do it for you, but I would. Yes, I would do it for you.
Do you remember the time that Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and we won the Bourbon Bowl? So this has a astounding 92 rating on Rotten Tomatoes for both critics and 92 for audience. So critics are loving this, and I believe that shows that people are loving it as well. I will say, at the end of the movie, it's a 2-hour movie. It's literally almost exactly 2 hours. At the end of the movie, they show the credits, and admittedly, and Howard knows this, I don't know anything about sports. This is a full-on sports movie. And thank you for confirming it. And but I love it. I can enjoy this, the stories and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of this, in the credits, every single person was as himself. So I can imagine if you're a sports fan, there's a level of this movie that didn't hit me. It wasn't necessary, but would probably make it even a cooler movie for you if you know who all these people are. So it's a story of Adam Sandler. He's a scout. He's like one of the greatest scouts. And for basketball, the 76ers. Robert Duvall has a small part in the movie. He dies shortly into it, and his son takes over the 76ers, who's a bit of a dick, sets Sandler's career into a different direction that his father had sent him. And so while scouting in Spain, he finds Ben Cruz, who is played by
Anthony Edwards.
No.
No.
Juancho
Hernan Gomez. Yeah.
Hernan Gomez. Thank you. Everyone's drinking. And he's great. A little trivia I found was that the original script was supposed to be someone from China, but Netflix doesn't do business in China, and they changed it to Spain. So Juancho, who plays Bo Cruz, is amazing. He's really, really good. And Adam Sandler takes him under his wing, and he recognizes that this guy is like a unicorn, and no one believes in him. And the 76ers, they get into a thing, and he gets fired, and he basically trains the character Bo Cruz and gets him into I think it's called a combine, the showcase, and of course there's the drama that makes a movie, and then there's the ending, which is happy. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but other than it turns out it's a good excuse me, it's a great movie. I'll tell you who else is great in this movie. I enjoyed Queen Latifah, who plays Adam Sandler's wife in this movie. They had a very lovely on-screen relationship, I thought, and I thought that was really nice. And overall, Heidi Gardner plays a character. She's not funny in it, but she's from Saturday Night Live. And on Saturday Night Live, I think she's one of the funniest cast members they have. But in this, she has kind of a bit part, just an important role at the beginning and end. She's delightful. But yeah, I mean, Dr. J's in it. Like, there's all these people that you enjoy, and it's some great basketball. The training scene goes on a long time. My wife's like, wow, this is going on a long time. I enjoyed it. But for her, she felt it maybe had gone on about 5 minutes too long.
Yeah,
Bob, you saw this.
The
I
other
feel
big basketball player that was in it is who played the character named Kermit. That's Anthony Edwards, who was the first pick in the draft a couple years ago and really just had his first big season this year. He's probably one of the NBA players that's next to burst out as a top-level superstar. And this movie certainly won't hurt him. Juancho Hernan Gomez is a bit player on NBA teams, a decent, what we'd call a rotation player. But there's never going to be a star. But Anthony Edwards, who played Kermit, is going to be a star.
I'm going to watch this because of the mix of all of the things you're saying, Jeff, and who are in key roles, and I like seeing athletes play themselves, and I don't know why that is. I'm always kind of fascinated by that, but I feel like I've heard this or seen this movie before. Did you guys ever see My Giant with Billy Crystal?
Sure. And
this is the same premise.
Well, it's been done a ton of times. It's been done in baseball. It was
I think they said the Raging Bull was a big influence.
Kind of. I mean, shit.
But Billy Crystal was a down on his luck.
Albert Brooks and Brendan Fraser and The Scout.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone's claiming this is the most original movie ever, but it's an excellent execution of this type of story. And
I'm gonna watch it.
It's definitely, I think, worth checking out for sure. If you're a sports fan or if you just enjoy a good story, which I like sports, but I'm not into it, but I enjoyed it a lot. So it's not like you're like, oh, it's all sportsy, I'm not going to watch it. No, it's just a great. It's just a great.
What's your sport of choice?
My sport of choice. I don't have a sport of choice. I like going to baseball games, but
I'll tell you a funny story. Years ago, Jeff used to think it was funny and probably also uncomfortable when we would talk about fantasy football. And Jeff one day announced that he was creating a game called Fantasy Life, where you hold a draft of all your friends and family, and if somebody gets a new job, you get more points. If somebody gets married, you get more
Oh yeah, I like that.
That was a Jeff joke for a while.
That's really cute, actually.
I'm adorable.
I like
that would be fun to play. I actually wouldn't be opposed to that.
You're right, Jerry. No football in this town.
You're right,
Lions.
Jay. You're absolutely right.
But people still love Lions. Oh, thank you, Carmen. And Lee's here. Everyone's here on the group.
Play that like the Lions, Lee.
Oh man. All right. So that was fun. All right.
Good one.
All right. We're gonna turn things over to Howard. Howard, don't hold your water bottle while you're talking.
I won't. I set it down intentionally.
Okay.
Winning Time.
Wait.
An HBO series.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Oh, now it's time for Howard and Winning Time. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So Winning Time is the basics of it. First of all, I should say that in typical Hollywood fashion, somebody has a great idea of subject matter to cover, and every other network does programming covering the same subject matter in different ways. So Winning Time is the story of the launch of the Lakers dynasty of the early 80s, the Showtime Lakers. This is kind of a comic reenactment dramedy, I guess you'd say. There's two other series out right now that hit on very similar subject matter. There's an excellent documentary called on Apple TV Plus called My Name is Magic. It's a 3-part or 4-part documentary just covering Magic Johnson, which is superb. Very, 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 very detailed and very, very honest interview with Magic Johnson and the people around him. And now there's another one called The Lakers, The True Story or something like that. I think that just came out or is just coming out on Hulu. So this is just to go back, if you're not a big basketball fan, when the Lakers started this Showtime, it was a culmination of a bunch of different things that happened at one time. The two biggest were Dr. Jerry Buss bought the Lakers. And he was a guy that really was not in that billionaire owner category, but he bought the Lakers and saw a different image for the team. And he wanted going to games to be an event, more so than just a basketball game. And then the second part of it is, in his first year as owner of the team drafted Magic Johnson. And that really culminated. Not only did it culminate for the Lakers, but it really helped. The NBA was a failing league when this started. It was really, really, really failing. And it was really David Stern, who at the time was the assistant commissioner, became the commissioner, obviously, for years after, who had the idea to continue to market the rivalry between Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, which had really taken place in the 1979 NCAA championship. And it was all the things you could think of: black versus white, good versus evil, suburbs and rural versus inner city. And so the Lakers becoming the Lakers really built the NBA. So to go to the series a little bit, like I said, it's a dramedy. It's created by Adam McKay, who obviously did all the great comedies as a writing partner with Will Ferrell, and then did mine and Ron's favorite travel airplane movie, The Big Short. He does a really good job with this.
That guy has a certain style. Like, you can really pick out his filmmaking whenever you watch it.
He does. And Winning Time is very similar to The Big Short. Like, some of the best parts of The Big Short are, especially with Ryan Gosling, are the
Bombshell as well.
I
think so.
remember.
Yeah.
I think he did. But the Ryan Gosling scenes where he's, breaking the fourth wall, talking to the camera. There's a lot of that with Winning Time as well. With so John C. Reilly plays Dr. Jerry Buss. He's great in this. He's great in everything. I've never seen him bad in anything. And he's really good. And he has a lot of those speaking to the audience asides, talking about stuff. And that is you're right. That's very much his style. I like it. I think it's fresh. Yeah. And is it, I'm forgetting his name, from the guy from Zero Dark 30 who plays Jerry West.
Jason Clark.
Jason Clark.
He plays Jerry West. So there's a bunch of controversy about this, in that people said, like, his portrayal of Jerry West as a crazy person was way over the top. If you talk to people in the NBA, they'll say it wasn't that over the top. But of course, they came out and said, everybody defended Jerry West, said it's nothing like this. Well, Jerry West calmed down in his later years and became a very shrewd general manager for the Lakers. But he was a little crazy when he was a player. And this was right after his coaching career was kind of over. Or playing career was kind of over. So there's that. The guy who played Magic Johnson was excellent. Pat Riley, who was just started this season as a broadcaster, then as an assistant coach, then became, obviously, and years later, the head coach, was played by Adrian Brody, who was great. Jason
I
Segel
remember seeing that casting, and that was like the one that just didn't make sense to me. He's so unlike, just physically,
He's really good. He's really good in this. Jason Segel, who plays Paul Westhead, is excellent. The character actor who plays Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is great. The guy who was Julius in Remember the Titans, who I'd never seen in anything since, plays Spencer Haywood in this movie, and plays Spencer Haywood very, very well.
Wood Harris.
Yeah, he's great in this. I loved him in Remember the Titans, and he's excellent in this, portraying Spencer Haywood and his drug issues. So unlike Hustle, the basketball scenes, being a sports fan and a guy who worked in the NBA and is a huge basketball fan, the basketball scenes in this are absolutely trash. They're horrible. It
Oh,
looks like they're
really?
playing in a yeah, I mean, it looks like they're playing on a high school gymnasium, like when it's supposed to be the Forum. There's no realism in it.
Huh.
But having said that, the realism in it, when I watched the Magic Johnson documentary, I just clicked the bottle there, Jeff. When I watched the Magic Johnson documentary, the footage they showed from that first season, the costume designer and makeup people and hair for Winning Time should win awards. They are spot on of what the real people, athletes, and especially the coaching staff looked like in
That's
80,
cool.
80 when it took it over. So it's great. It follows the team through his first year as owner, Magic Johnson's rookie year, from stories from training camp, which if you watch the Magic documentary, a lot of those stories are very true. Some of the things that were crazy, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was the captain of the team, making Magic Johnson bring him his newspaper and a glass of orange juice every morning and giving him shit about not getting there in time or the orange juice having too much pulp. Magic Johnson talks about that, and those are absolutely true. It talks about how the first game of the season they win on a last-second shot, and Magic Johnson hugged Kareem, and Kareem's like, what the hell are you doing? We got 80 more games, and Magic Johnson's like, if we win 80 more games, I'm going to hug you 80 more times. And they show that at the end of the season, and that Magic talks about that in the documentary as well. It was a very true story. So it follows it into the season. If you know the story, they really didn't have a coach. They hired a guy named Jack McKinney, who was very eccentric, a basketball savant, a brand new system that had never been seen before, and just an absolute savant. And early into the season, he falls on his bike and fractures his skull, is in the hospital for a long time. Paul Westhead becomes the head coach, and and makes Pat Riley his assistant. And then it becomes an issue as they get to the second half of the season over who's going to stay as the head coach, because they've been winning with Westhead, but is Westhead the guy to take them the whole way? And then it gets into some key games during the season. It does a lot of talking about Magic Johnson, his relationship with Cookie, his girlfriend at the time, off and on, his wife now. It's a really fun, entertaining series. There's some other great roles. Sally Field plays Jerry Buss's mother, who's a huge influence on his life. The woman who plays his daughter, Jeannie, who now these days, as a lot of people may know, is the president of the Lakers now, and was a huge part of growing the team to what it has been for the past couple of decades. Certainly, it's really well cast. I think almost all the performances are great. There's a lot of inside basketball jokes. But then there are also a lot of really just good, entertaining performances that you don't have to be a huge basketball fan to follow, like the back and forth between Jerry Buss and the guy who plays Red Auerbach, the legendary coach of the Celtics, is really funny stuff.
Is that Michael Chiklis's character?
It is. Yeah.
He's great.
And then like there's some other just inside basketball stuff, like the guy that Jerry Buss originally wanted to hire as head coach of the Lakers was the famous Jerry Tarkanian, the Shark from University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So it was, I really enjoyed it. I recommend it. Don't watch it for the basketball. Don't watch it for 100% documentary quality storytelling. It's a reenactment, certainly, but it's well done. There's some really funny stuff. There's some really dramatic, good stuff. A good mix of all that. Adam McKay does it in a great way, and I recommend it. HBO Max, and it's a good watch, no question.
I'll tag on that.
I'm sold.
I'll tag on. I had Spencer Garrett. He played Chick Hearn on the show, and it was a good conversation on my podcast. But I watched so I started watching Winning Time because I was going to talk to him, and I got sucked right in. And again, similar to Hustle, not being a sports guy, and this being, when you hear it, it's like, oh, this is the story of the Lakers. It's a sports story. I loved every minute of it. If that, if whatever that one guy feels he wasn't, or Jerry West thinks he wasn't done service, I don't know who Jerry West is. I thought it was great. I enjoyed every second of it. And I agree with you 100%, Howard, and I can't think enough. And then also want to mention Gabby Hoffman is in it.
Oh, yeah.
All grown up Gabby Hoffman. So
yeah.
She's great. She's really great in this. So, all right. Well, that's cool. Winning Time. Check that out. I want to go on. I do want to say, since we have a little extra time, I want to talk about Stranger Things for a second, because I'm really annoyed. I started a thing on Facebook. I'm like, really, people? And everyone's like, it's the best. And even Bob's like, it gels. Let me say something. Like, after doing this show with all of you guys, and 77 hours into it now, if a show takes 8.5 hours to gel, okay, I've been watching 5 episodes of Kenobi. One of them was 40 minutes. One of them was 30 minutes. Each episode of Kenobi was 1,000 times better than every episode of Stranger Things, which they couldn't seem to get done in under an hour and a half every episode. So it's like all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's Netflix. We don't have to really spend time on the story. And here's what gets me today, which is why I think Netflix hates all of you, is so there's 8 episodes, or maybe 7, but there's like 9 hours of Stranger Things in this season, which is only half a season. And let me say that nothing happens in the big payoff in the last episode. Okay, there's a payoff, which at some point you see coming, but honestly, if you really think about it, based on the timing of it, doesn't make any sense at all. But that aside, putting a pin in that for a second, that's a whole different discussion. Hey. I saw a promo on Twitter today of Netflix. It was a little video promo that if you watch it and haven't seen season 4, it basically ruins the entire 8.5 hour commitment. It literally gives away the end. It gives away the end. It's not something that's shown or figured out in the middle. It's something that you literally figure out in the last hour.
Excuse me.
And they just gave it all away in what they thought was a clever behind the scenes thing. When I saw that, I was like, what effing assholes to do that. This is only a few weeks out. It's 8.5 hours. Not every person in the world can sit down and binge 9 hours straight. Some people need time to watch things, but to ruin it this close is like, that's just a big F you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bob. Tell us why you like this. But yeah, walked out of Maverick.
Well, I did. I walked out of Maverick. I just, we're not going to get into that again. I did like it. But I think, to answer your question, why does everything take so long? It's because the Duffer Brothers got the keys to the kingdom from Netflix, and they're building their opus. This is it.
Bob, this is season 4.
I understand
of established characters and mythology, and they're actually not even building on the mythology because it doesn't exist. They're actually recreating it. They're actually it could have easily been season 1. I agree. This is a great season. if season 1, 2, and 3 didn't exist.
It's like
This makes perfect
Rocky
sense.
2.
This is amazing. If
No,
all the other seasons didn't
I'm just
exist.
trying to answer the question about why everything is so long, why the exposition, why
That's an
the length of episodes,
excuse.
because
That's
they
an
have the
excuse.
money they've always wanted,
No,
and they're going to spend it, baby. That's what they're doing.
no,
Well, what do they fill the time with?
It's a lot of setup,
a lot of setup, like
and a
so
lot
much
of
setup,
flashbacks.
like
Wow.
4 hours of
Yeah.
L's floating and something.
Yeah.
You know, having flashbacks. I mean, it's like this could have been the last 4 episodes. Just the 8 episodes could have been 4 episodes, right? This
Yeah.
is this is like complete unnecessary.
And you know the weird thing is the kid that started it off, Will, right? Is it Will?
Mhm.
He's okay.
Yeah.
He's not in this thing at all. He's just a placeholder.
You know who Will is? Will's the 4th guy from The Hangover.
Yes.
No, not literally. I mean, but
I know,
like you know, like in the
that's
first
exactly
movie.
it. He has nothing to do in this, and
Yeah.
they're setting it up to he's going to be the gay character. You can see that coming. And then I don't know what other purpose he's serving.
Well, I don't even know why they already have a very gay character. I don't know why they're going out of their way to make him also gay. It's fine if he is. I don't care. But I don't. Everyone's obsessed with it. I mean, the one girl is brilliantly gay, and
Ethan
so it's like it's
Hawke's
a great
daughter.
character. She's one of the best characters in the show.
Yeah, she is.
And but even that character, they're just going out of the way to make it. Oh, I like girls. It's like we get it. It doesn't even. It has nothing to do with actually anything other than just having it be who that person is. I don't. It's fine. It doesn't make sense other than trying to check a box. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. The Duffers are checking a lot of boxes because they have the budget to check them all, man.
Well, this movie, this series is. I don't know. I just don't understand why people are so enthralled by it. It's like I think suddenly we've confused nostalgia with a good time. It's like things are so bad. Oh my God, Matthew Modine's back.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
And
is
a
it
really bad
Is
wig.
it because I don't know.
If I may I go the opposite direction?
Yeah, you can go any direction you want.
A show whose new season just started that is excellent, and I'm so happy it's back, and it's even better than ever. Season 3 of The Boys is just within the first 5 minutes, you're like, thank God this is back.
Yeah.
It's so good. And there's 18 storylines going on, all of which are exciting and all of which will mesh at some point in time. The acting is superb. It's so good.
You know, we should pray for that the Duffer brothers watch The Boys and realize how it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, a little editing.
4 hours into season 4 of Stranger Things, and you still have no idea what's going on, right? It's like
you
have literally no idea what's going on. The Boys, season 3, episode 1, you're on board from second one. Every second of that show is gold.
Absolutely.
And Stranger Things, nothing. I mean, literally, you could. Stranger Things could have been an hour and a half. Okay, let me. Everyone knows Hopper is alive because they gave that away a year and a half ago, in great suspense training. But the Hopper Russia thread of Stranger Things season 4 is by far the stupidest, most unnecessary thing. It's almost like they're just trying to give the Hopper guy maybe an Emmy shot with his little speeches about I'm the problem. You know, like he's all built now. He doesn't even look like the same character. Like he was like the big dopey hero, right? Now he's like he looks like freaking like he could be taking down Hans and Die Hard or something. Like it's like he's not even the same character. And
Hans, Bobby.
and he's like they're in Russia, but the Russia connection has literally nothing to do with any of the show. They just happen to be in a Russian camp. Oh wait, I'm sorry. 7 hours in, they finally decide to make a connection.
Well, there's
7
been a
hours
Russian
in.
connection all along to that
Yes,
lab.
but it's like, but he's just in a Russian. It's like, who cares about? You can't defend that Russian storyline. I will die on this hill. It is the worst. It is
It's
so
because they wanted to
unnecessary.
show a Demogorgon again. That's why. That was the only
in hour
reason.
7, if you want to see the worst plot thread, and it's like, and they bring back that Russian guy who's so annoying. But
Yeah.
they figured out a way to bring him back, and him and Winona Ryder,
Yeah.
and then
If I may ask a question of some form of logic, why have you watched 4 seasons of the show that you can't stand?
it's one of those hate watch. They figured out hate watching is a thing. And then but people like Bob are like, it gels. Bob owes me 4 hours of my life.
Well,
so I will say in episode 6, there is probably the funniest line I think of any show I've seen in a long time. They go, and Dustin's girlfriend from season 3, they figure out a way to work her in to 20 minutes of the episode. And they go, and she's a computer genius, if you don't remember that. And they go to her because they have these coordinates because these one sect of the police or whoever need to kill everyone to get to L, even though clearly anyway, but that part makes no sense at the end either. But anyway, so she figures out, she has the modem and the computer, and she does all this and she's like, oh, I'll trace the IP. What's the IP? Oh, it's the internet protocol. It tells me exactly where they are,
which was impossible in 1987,
right?
Or
and then the longitude latitude pops up on the screen, and Will character goes, can you print that? And she turns to him and says, I'm sorry, my skills end at IP geolocation. It was, I mean, you kind of had to be there, but it was the funniest.
It was well
so
delivered.
Funny. It was
the
so
actress
funny.
is good.
So if you're willing for season 4 to put in 8 hours to get to that one joke that I just told you, or
rarely has Jeff been so negative, so down on one show. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying your consternation.
It adds some drama to the lineup.
It's because I'm just tired of like people using this Netflix as an excuse to be lazy, not tell good stories. You know what I mean? It's
now that Netflix is losing money and their stock price is tanking, it's going to go the other way. And you watch over the next year, they're going to be looking for economical shows to be told succinctly. Boom, boom, boom. 6 episodes done. Right.
Well, you know what economic shows means? It means, what are they called? Like the Kardashians.
Oh God!
Reality shows was the
answer.
Life.
No.
Yeah.
No more of that.
Anyhow,
speaking of award shows, I think our show should lead the petition to make her happy and go back and give J-Lo an Academy Award for Hustlers. She really expected in her new biography. She talks about how she really expected to win an award for that, and I think she's right.
But who puts that in a book? It's like, just shut up, get over it.
I mean, everybody does really good, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is good. All right. Well, let's go back. Let's celebrate Jess Paul and all the good stuff she has coming up.
It's kind of a hot picture too, I gotta admit.
Hot? Yeah. The steam was coming off me in the rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's very sad.
I think it's
she's
the
like,
sunflowers.
It's like, I'm so sad. All the sunflowers are dead, and if I had known that, I wouldn't have picked this last one. That's so dramatic. That's what the movie's about.
It's like the
we don't know. Since we don't know, and frankly,
we want to put all.
It hasn't been shot yet. It's still, they could do a rewrite.
That's right.
Go with Dwoskin's sunflower idea. It's got legs. He was so right on about Stranger Things season 4.
No, but wasn't this so enlightening? Gosh, I now know what I should be watching, what I shouldn't be watching. Like, if I ever did venture over to TV.
Remind everyone about your YouTube channel and where they can keep up with you, Jess.
You know, I bet if you Google Jess Paul, I would come up. In fact, I'm sure of it. I've tried it a couple times. So,
All right.
When Jess Paul's not being super famous, she's Googling herself. All right, Bob, tell everyone where they can find you.
I'm Googling myself here right now. BobPhillipsComedy.com. See, tomorrow night, you can't see us because we're sold out, but Jeff is headlining the Sal and Bob show tomorrow night at Janitti's Hole in the Wall Theater in Northville. And then, man, I don't know. I'm on cruises and all kinds of nonsense coming up. Look at the calendar. I'm too lazy to talk.
You're going on a cruise?
No, I'm performing on a cruise ship.
Really?
At the end, in July.
That's pretty cool.
that is pretty fun.
Yeah,
Like-
it's kind of a new thing for me.
I
wanna
don't even
check
know.
out the-
I never even thought about that as a possibility, but of course. Why wouldn't a
Comedians,
comedian be
always comedians on cruise ships.
Always comedians,
Yep.
yep.
Cheap entertainment. There you go.
Look
There's
at
the poster.
that. Yes.
I'm headliner, yet I'm one of the smallest photos and practically
you are the
blocked out by the
largest of
sold
the
out
small
sign.
photos.
I'm the largest of the sub folks.
Yes.
Roz, say goodnight.
I
my
will,
friend.
with the excessive heat warnings of the next couple of days here in Detroit, I will be performing on a raft in my pool.
All
Oh,
right.
good. Yeah.
Howard has a gorgeous backyard. And then you can check Bob and Sal on the Sal and Bob show. You can check out my podcast, Classic Conversations. That's where I'm hanging. And we're here every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, crossing streams, doing all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. And that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.